Hello everyone, my name is Charlene Ragansi
And I'm Jason van Heerden.
and we are Pretoria Dietitian. We often see a few common mistakes when people try to lose weight. We understand that it can be overwhelming and challenging for some people to lose weight. We would like to make it as effective and easy as possible for you.
And to do that, what we want to do is we want to go to the top 5 mistakes that we see on people on their fat loss journey. Probably the biggest mistake that I find with my clients that tell me about their previous weight loss attempts is that they say, Jason, after a day or two, then I really start to feel hungry. And with that is that a lot of people think that now that's the body going into fat burning zone. It means that that's really where the weight loss is starting. So it's almost the equivalent of the more hungry I am, the more often I'm hungry, the better it means that I'm on my fat loss journey. And actually what we find is that that's far from the truth, especially when we say medium to long term. Because the thing is, there's many reasons why we get hungry, but one of the biggest reasons why we get hungry on a diet that's not properly done is that we're eating too little, or we're not having a high enough volume of food in our diet. And the problem with that is that normally it lasts for 2 or 3 days. We find that we have no energy, we're always hungry, we can't concentrate, almost getting even shaky because we're not eating enough. So, at our follow-up consultations, the first question that I ask my clients is 2 things. So the thing is that I ask them, are you hungry on the diet? And as well, I'll ask them, how's your energy levels been? Because if you're hungry and if you find that your energy levels are dropping, it's definitely not sustainable for you. And that's how we set up our plans, is we make sure that you have sustained energy. You're not really going to be feeling hungry. And we find that with that, that's where we actually get that long-term success. Another problem with feeling hungry the whole time is that we normally find that we don't have energy to go and exercise, and we don't eat enough food, so we're at high risk of nutrient deficiencies as well. A lot of the time also when we're very hungry, it means that we're losing muscle mass. So you also feel that you have less strength when you're exercising, and as well losing muscle mass will also decrease your basal metabolic rate, which is essentially your metabolism. So also short term you might be losing more weight, but especially if you're looking at making a proper meal plan, we work at an effective short, medium, and long term, that you have sustained energy and that you're not feeling hungry.
The second problem that we see is the sole focus on the number on the scale. We often forget about the other components that can contribute to our weight. For example, during your weight loss journey, you might increase your amount of exercise, which would lead to muscle gain. With muscle gain, we also gain healthy amounts of water. So with this muscle gain and water gain, that can of course increase our weight, but we still see that we lose fat with that. Another interesting, or maybe a little bit of a weird fun fact, is that an adult on average produces 100 to 200 grams of fecal mass per day. So depending on when last did you go to the bathroom, that will also contribute to our weight. Also, in our bladder, we can store about 500 ml of water, which roughly contributes about 500 grams to our total weight.
Another big mistake that we see people making on their weight loss journeys is that they often look at the food that they're eating, but don't often take into consideration the liquid calories that they're getting in. So what are our liquid calories? It could be our juice, it could be our cool drink, and it can also be our alcohol. I've often had clients say, but Jason, I've been having this wonderful, this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for supper, I'm counting calories, but they find, Jason, I'm frustrated. I'm not getting the results that I want. But once we start adding in, okay, but even your tea and coffee, all the sugar you're adding in there, your juice, your cool drink, and your alcohol, especially if there's some binges in the week as well, that can make a massive, basically, effect on your weight loss journeys as well. And often, if you do love those things, we often work them into your meal plans as something that can be sustainable. So if you enjoy a good amount, let's say a juice every now and then in your breakfast, or enjoy a nice glass of wine every now and then, we actually work it in to make it sustainable for you and doable. The other aspect that we want to look at is that instead of taking it away sometimes, we'd often find an alternative. So for example, some people love to have cool drink in the day, and we would then just look at lower calorie or sugar-free versions in the day. A fun fact is that in South Africa, most cans of sugar that we'd get with our sugar cool drink, right, is going to be, we'd have between 6 and 10 teaspoons of sugar just in a can of cool drink. But our sugar-free versions literally have 0 calories in there. So for many people, that's an easy alternative to still get them basically that sweetness that they want, but still get them to their goals. But if you love, for example, your liquid calories, we can often look at 3 ways of going about it. So the first one is that for some people to say, look, I actually don't need it. It's just a habit. We can actually take it out and people can have more food in their diets as well. The second alternative is that we say, listen, we realize that you love this, you love your juice or your wine, for example, and we actually work it into the meal plan that you would still get to your goals. And the third way is that we look at basically getting a lower calorie version of it. So for example, let's say, your cool drink is that instead of the full amounts of sugar that you'd have in there, maybe we can look at the sugar-free version. Maybe, for example, you love your fruit juice, but we can then look at the lower calorie version of that as well. So you can still enjoy it, still get all that sweetness, but we can still effectively get you to your goals.
The fourth general problem that we see is how bad sleep can have an influence on our weight loss. If we don't get enough quantity, which is about 7 to 9 hours, and quality sleep, there's a disruption in the release of hormones that regulates our appetite. So, a hormone that we call ghrelin is released, which increases our appetite, which makes dietary compliance a little bit more difficult, and it leads to a lot of snacking. A study that was conducted over a 24-month period showed that increasing your sleep quality as well as quantity, remember 7 to 9 hours, increased the likelihood of successful weight loss by 33%.
Another common mistake that we see is that clients would come in and they'd actually say, look, Jason, what things can't I eat? Or they'd have a preconceived list of things that they can't eat. And say, Jason, I can't have this, I probably can't have that, hey. And what we realize is that we actually do the opposite, is that we tell our clients what they can eat. So we actually know, in our diets, we feel that we're quite comprehensive. We're giving quite a big list of foods in specific times of the day, specific amounts to make it, unique for you, but that we'd actually know, but if I do want to have this, how much should I then have? And we actually find that that's more liberating in something that you can have. We not have, like, let's say, a no list and a yes list, but yes, we have ideal foods. And if, for example, you like to have, food that you might not feel might not be the best, but you'd like to know the portion size of that, we then work that in. Again, this is something that you can be doing in 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, even 2 years. And it's still something that you'll enjoy and find practical and still get you to your goals.
During our consultation, we look into all these aspects. We believe that the best meal plan is one that you can actually stick to. Your meal plan must be as effective, doable, practical, and enjoyable as possible.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.